National Nutrition Month, held annually in March, focuses attention on the importance of making informed food choices and developing sound eating and physical activity habits. The University of Florida Cooperative Extension Program wants you to participate year-round. All the details are coming up on Polk Place. Welcome to Polk Place. I'm your host, Jeremy Morady, and with me today is Andrea Nicolai, who's the Family and Consumer Science Agent over at Polk County IFAS office. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we got a whole thing with the National Food Month coming up, and want to talk to you a little bit about what all goes into that and what we can tell folks and out in the community that might not know about this. But if you can, let's back up a little bit first and talk about what the IFAS office is and what you guys do over there, because there's a lot of exciting stuff that you guys put out for the community.
So IFAS, a lot of people don't even know what it stands for. Actually, you just kind of say it. And so it's the University of Florida IFAS. It's Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences. Mm-hmm. And so then at our office, what we're doing is we're bringing solutions from the university to help apply them for our county to give, for the people right here. So that's why there's some in every county. There's an extension in every county in Florida. And so then there's different agents at our office, and we each specialize in different things. And so I'm the Family and Consumer Science Agent. And so I focus on solutions for the family to help the well-being of the family. So I do a lot with health and nutrition, especially with our county. Just that's some of the things that chose to focus on for our county.
Okay. And so right now that's the National Food Month coming up.
So that's why this is really exciting. It's like every year, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, so I'm a part of that. And it's the world's largest food and nutrition education professionals group. And so they celebrate this month, kind of like there's Heart Awareness Month and things like that. So then this is on National Nutrition. And so it's just reminding people about making informed food choices that help you feel your best. And just sometimes it's easy to go about the everyday, but we all have to eat, and you can make the choices that really help you, and that's is reminding you this month. So
all right,
kind of exciting.
Well, I know one of my goals is to get away from so many processed foods, and that's
hard.
That's hard.
I mean, we're busy people, and so
busy, and it's so easy to get into that habit and get away from the those really bad sources that don't do you too much good.
That's my job then too, is really to try to help people like you try to figure out, how can I do this when I'm busy? I need something easy, and I want something, number one, that tastes good. So I'm working to help people figure out how they can do that easily with, just I guess the real food, I guess you would say.
Well, now with the National Food Month, we were talking earlier that you said that there's a theme each year.
Yeah, there is. So this year it's Go Further with Food, and it's kind of two parts in a way. It's like what you have for breakfast. The choices that you make in the morning can help you go further throughout that day by making you feel your best, and then also going further with the foods that you have at your house, or when you buy things to just reduce food waste, and that you can actually, ways to use those further so you don't have to waste so much food, and that'll save you. What do you think it'll save you?
I have no idea.
So if you waste food, then it'll, it kind of costs you money and nutrients also. So, so you can save you time, money, and then nutrients by wasting less food. So
I know I'm a big lover of leftovers.
So that's good.
I pack it away. It becomes lunch the next day or next couple of days. So that takes care of me. But what are some of the things folks can do in looking at reducing some of that food waste during this month and kind of getting into that habit?
That's good. So it sounds like you're very good with leftovers. Sometimes people aren't, or they just don't want the same thing, so say you make chicken once, right? So there's a handout here I just brought, and it shows chicken, and then you can make it once, but then you can use it multiple ways throughout the week. So you can make chicken sandwiches, chicken soup, you can make chicken stir fry, and the first time you can have grilled chicken. So maybe you don't like, grilled chicken so many times at lunch, dinner, like the next day, but
So
you
it's
can
not
mix
just
it up.
tasting the same thing that you're eating over and
So
over.
that might help people, and then some people have trouble with fruits and vegetables. They do really well with leftover, pizza or something like that, but when it comes to like, they have a bunch of apples, just trying to figure out, I don't know, maybe you're good with like remembering to use those too.
I can be better, I can say that.
Well, there's some fruits, people or vegetables you buy with good intentions, like eggplant, you've always wanted to try it, and then it just kind of sits there. And so just planning out your meals for the week. And so I brought this handout too, just that's another way to just reduce food waste by sitting down one day and then planning out your meals for the week. And you could do it, I show by like every single meal, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, if you really like to plan it out. Or some people typically, you often have the same type of things for breakfast, same type of things for lunch. So even if you can just plan out your dinners for the week and then check your fridge, see what you have, check your pantry and see what you have that you need to use up before you go to the store, and make your list based on that, and then you can reduce your food waste, save you money, and save
Plus
you
you
time
get a little
and
creative
stress.
too, a little bit, and trying to plan some new stuff with what you have.
Right.
I think they've done a few
exactly.
food shows on that too, where a chef will come into your house
That'd
and
be- Yeah.
pick out of your pantry.
Yes, exactly. So it's like, it's kind of makes it fun, or you think about that eggplant and you're like, okay, one day this week I really should probably use that. So then you could pull out a couple of your recipes you've been meaning to try with eggplant, and then maybe on Wednesday that's eggplant, and whatever would make that easier for you. Just having, like, if you're gonna make eggplant parmesan, right? You're gonna bake it in the oven, so you're gonna have to just think that when you come home, you'll know what you need to do, and then have that tomato sauce and cheese on hand to make it into what you need, and then that'll make it an easy meal for you that night. But if you don't plan, sometimes you just kind of get home, and I don't know if you're like me, you're just tired and
Yeah,
just
you're
kinda
ready to
have
get
the-
it over with.
Yeah, just like
sometimes.
whatever you
Yeah.
can find.
Well, I know in going through our pantry, I do a lot of cooking. My wife does a lot of cooking, and she's very particular about dates that get printed
Okay.
on. It gets confusing when you're looking at what these manufacturers put on: best by, used by, expired by. Expired's kind of self-explanatory, but can you get into a little bit of that? That sometimes
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a misnomer. Do you throw this out because of this date?
I'm
what
glad
do
you
do?
asked about that, because a lot of people actually do kind of hold those dates as the actual date, and there's really, very intelligent people who are just still trying to figure out exactly when it says sell by or things like that. So how many days can I use it after the sell by date? You know what I'm saying? Like meat, and you don't want
It's
to
like it's
hurt
good enough
anybody.
to sell by this
Yeah.
date. Is it still good enough to eat after it?
Exactly, and so it's really interesting. There's quality dates and safety dates, right? And so the manufacturer makes these dates up, and so it's basically what they think. Best by, used by, better if used before, those are all quality dates, not safety dates. So you don't have to throw it out, right, if it says used before. It's often good after that date.
Okay.
And so just, and that's hard, hard for people to know. And you often find those dates on things like granola bars or cereal. And what it is the manufacturer is then telling you when they think it's going to be at its prime quality, like if you use it by this date. And that's what they're guessing. And so then what might happen is sometimes, like in cereal, like if you eat it, years after the use by date or something, the nutrients are probably diminishing, very likely. So that's one thing you're missing out on, but it may still be safe to eat. And so just checking things like foodsafety.org or Go Further with Food IFAS.org. Those are good sources, and they can help you figure out when when would be a time when safety is an issue, and that's expired by, and expired can sometimes food can be good after that date too, and so it's just really, it's like how we store it. And then the two that I would say, just obviously when in question, you don't want to get sick. So definitely, I understand why people, but just knowing what the dates mean. But the infant formula and meat are the two, but infant formula number one, just really, you don't want to use those after those use by quality dates, because it's so important for the infants to get the right nutrition. So if it diminishes a little bit, after that date,
yeah, it's not really
you
doing a
wouldn't
whole lot
want
of good at that
to,
point.
yeah, it's like their soul food.
Okay.
So that, and then also the sell-by dates, it's usually good several days after that sell-by date. It's like a week or so that they have to, when they put that date on there, they know that if the consumer takes it home, it's good for at least several days. So I did a lot of research just on this, because just that is why we have a lot of food waste in our country. It's like that, and then 28% of the fruits and vegetables that we buy are actually thrown away. So
wow.
And it's those two big areas, just people not understanding the dates, and then just not finding ways to use leftovers, and then it kind of gets pushed in the back of the fridge, and you're like, what was that?
And
that
then
was
it's,
good, dang.
whoa, what was this?
What was this?
So,
yeah, so
okay.
those things. And then just with fruits and vegetables, so I don't know, what works for you to remember to eat those? Like, do you have any ideas? What would you
Normally
do?
we plan out a lot of our meals
So you do
going
plan.
through quite a bit.
awesome.
And so, we'll talk about, well, what do we want to have this week? Because you have things to plan around, between, baseball practice and,
So you got that too.
meetings for, work, and, my wife's a teacher, so parent-teacher conferences. So there's a lot to plan for. What do you have time to do? And we plan our meals out like that. So a lot of it is just, we're always in the fridge going through, knowing what's there. And
That's exactly what you need, just to know what's there. And do you make a grocery store list then?
yes, we
Do you do it based on what's in your fridge? Like, do you check your fridge before you make the list?
Most definitely.
God, see, that
So,
is exactly what, if you can just remember to do that, check your pantry, and then you're awesome. Yeah, that's
We try.
good. The other thing I would say sometimes people forget is just, having the produce, you tend to stick it in the drawers, because that's where, you've heard it keeps the longest. And just like a reminder then is that you don't want to keep it forever until it doesn't, it's bad. And so sometimes people, they stick it down there with good intentions. I just want to keep this as fresh as possible. But it can, if you find that you aren't really going through those apples and things like that, is to actually put those, in the middle shelf in the fridge, so that you will actually eat
That's
them.
a reminder
Yes.
right there.
And so then you're like, oh, I could have an apple. Just even my mom, so she loves fruits and vegetables, and so she was saying, oh, I love apples, love oranges, but when they're in the produce store, she kind of forgets about them, and so she opens the fridge and chooses like yogurt, or which is another good snack, but sometimes it would be good to have the fruits and vegetables. And another one is, if you have kids, just having like a fruit bowl on the counter can be a good option,
They
just
can
so
just
that
right
exactly,
there and go. Yep.
the clementines, really easy to peel. Or if they always go to the pantry and look for the dry goods snacks, maybe just putting the fruit bowl, in the pantry. But
Here you go.
Yeah, so
All right.
those are just some ideas.
Well, thank you so much for coming in. Sure learned a lot too.
Thanks. You're
thank
doing
you.
well. Thank you for having me.
The Family and Consumer Sciences Extension Program is dedicated to providing science-based information to empower individuals and families to make changes to improve their health and quality of life. They want you to participate in March's National Nutrition Month, Go Further with Food. A series of classes are scheduled throughout the month in various places throughout the county. For times and locations, look them up on the web at polkfcs.eventbrite.com or give them a call at 863-519-1072.